Good evening. My name is Thurman Greco, and the name of this program is Let's Live, and it comes to you from Woodstock's own educational TV station, Channel 23, and from YouTube. And I hope that whether you are watching from Channel 23 or from YouTube, that you will become a regular viewer and enjoy all the different guests that we have. And I've got a wonderful guest this evening, because I have to admit that all of my life, what I really wanted, hidden away in this closet of my heart, was an ice cream truck. And it's the only thing that my husband has ever said, Frank, just no. He has never said no to me for anything except when I started talking about the ice cream truck. So we got a guest tonight, and I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and tell us about your wonderful venture.
Thank you, Thurman, for having me. I'm Joshua Charles, and I own Sweet Dreams Organic Ice Cream in Woodstock here, an organic ice cream parlor. And I'm honored to be here, be one of your many guests.
Well, how long have you been here?
Woodstock, I guess we've been here, the years have gone by fast, over 10 years now.
Really?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. We used to go to Woodstock Day School, and then the kids switched to Woodstock Elementary and Ontiora, and yeah.
And you were here full-time residents?
We have full-time residents. Well, in and back and forth through Red Hook sometimes. We have a property in Red Hook that we sometimes live at, but mostly Woodstock, yeah.
Did your children go to Red Hook schools?
No, Woodstock. Like I said, Woodstock Elementary and Ontiora eventually.
That's very interesting, because every time I go to Red Hook and start talking with a Red Hook resident, all they tell me is how fabulous their school is.
They were great.
But not good enough.
No, great, good.
Yeah.
So we like them.
So when did you get this idea of the Sweet Dreams Organic Ice Cream?
Well, we noticed that there was nothing like that. There was no place to take our kids. We were kind of health nuts. And we thought, wouldn't it be neat, something that we would like, is to take it after dinner, go and have an organic ice cream or something not that bad for you that we could take our kids to. And so we after a few years of pondering it, we decided to take the plunge and start it ourselves, which we did.
That's interesting. When you started to go with an ice cream business, did you look at other ice cream places?
We did. You mean study in the country or in the area?
Anywhere. I'm just trying to find out how you did your market research to come up with this.
No, I actually I scouted places for years in the Woodstock area and waited for that exact spot to come open for a number of years. It was occupied by many different things. It's the whole history, so the location as well. I think it used to be the courthouse many years ago, and a police station, and different businesses. But when we took it over, it was very overgrown. It was dilapidated and just something else. And that's what I wanted, because I saw what it could be underneath all that.
So how long has it been open?
It was 3 years last year.
So you actually opened before the pandemic, true or not?
Oh yes, well before the pandemic, 2018.
So how long had you been open when the country shut down?
We'd been open, it's all blending together now. 2018, June 2018 is when we opened. So, since then.
Wow.
Yeah, since then to the beginning of it. So, but for us, it was we never closed. We just it just got very quiet for a time there. The streets were empty. It was very scary for businesses.
Yes.
And then, everyone who survived the people came back. Thankfully, they came back in droves, and now things are going really well, because I think a lot of people have migrated to our area. So it was good timing.
Well, the question that I have now is,
yes,
how did you come up with the name?
Sweet Dreams? We thought about something that would be both kind of familiar, but also appropriate at the same time, but not too familiar. I don't know, we thought long and hard about it. I think one day maybe the Eurythmics song came on the radio, and when we were thinking about it, and we took that as a sign that was
it.
That was it, yes.
So, how many flavors do you have?
Flavors, wow, it varies week to week and month to month, but anyway, up to 17 or 18 different flavors.
But it's kind of like serendipitous. You're going to find something every time. Are there any flavors that you carry with you basically?
Oh yes. Oh, there's staples that if we didn't have them, there would be an outcry.
What are those flavors?
Certainly the salted caramel, the strawberry, the cookies and cream, of course. The cappuccino is very popular, and the Mexican chocolate chip. Everyone wants to know about the Mexican chocolate chip.
Do they like it?
It's sometimes if they like it a lot. But it's a you have to get used to it. There's cinnamon.
Yes.
Yeah. So not everyone likes that, but everyone wants to try it.
So when you were working yourself up to this business, how involved were you in the flavors? How involved were you in the production of the ice cream?
The flavors very much of the production, not at all. The production, we hired that out. I have a fourth generation ice cream maker who started for us making the ice cream. Now we have a couple of his proteges also make ice cream for us as well. So we have a couple of different people, all local, with local organic cream and grass-fed dairy, making the ice cream for us. But we also have vegan ice creams that are made locally as well. But here in Saugerties, some friends of mine who have organic nectars make, just for our shop, they make cashew-based organic vegan ice cream, which is fantastic.
And how important is a vegan ice cream to an ice cream parlor?
These days it's becoming more and more important. It seems to be, we're actually going to expand our vegan section this year. We're going to get another ice cream, so we'll have more flavors. Because it's so popular, mostly with the young people. Everyone wants to, someone comes in and says, "Oh, they have vegan," and the whole gang comes in and runs in. So
it's kind of getting to be a fad, isn't it?
A fad, and hopefully a lifestyle choice for the young people that are getting into it, not rather than just a fad as well.
Very interesting.
It's better for it.
Now, so you guys have been living up here a long time.
Yes, we have.
And this includes you and your wife and the children.
Correct. Yes.
And will you share with us what you guys did before you opened the ice cream parlor? And does one of you still do it?
Let's see. Well, my wife taught yoga at the Emerson Spa when we first opened. She no longer does that, but she's kind of retired from that. She does some privates as well, and does mostly private classes. But before that, it was a long circuitous path to getting to where we are now.
Well, I think that's very important.
Yes.
I think the path is as important as the journey.
I agree.
So what was your path before you started doing ice cream?
How far back?
Hey, as far back as you have the nerve to go, baby.
Well, let's see. Since we've had the kids, it's been mostly just focused on survival and taking care of them, and
Absolutely.
trying to give them the best lives we could. But before that, Christina and I weren't really concerned about security as much as we are, I guess, to the degree that we are with the kids now.
Right.
So we traveled a lot. We traveled with the Grateful Dead when we were younger. We traveled and we went to rainbow gatherings. We were full on hippie kids who kind of left college, left a lot of things behind to go and be kind of wild gypsies for a time.
I think that's important.
I believe so too. Yes.
I mean, if you haven't had that experience, how are you going to do ice cream?
I agree.
You know?
Yeah.
And so, the ice cream, do you plan to have 2 locations?
Actually, yes. It's funny you should say that. I am scouting. We're scouting. We're looking at a couple places in Rhinebeck actually right now for the next. But ideally, something down in Florida would be great, just because it's warm all the time.
Aha. Okay.
We lived in Key West for many years, so we got. It was harder to come up here after Key West, weather-wise.
Oh, listen. I would have no problem living in Key West at all. If my husband would, he just won't do it. He just would not do it. I used to have my South Florida fixes every winter, and it finally got to the point where he would fly me down and get, wherever it was that I was staying for however long I was going to stay, and then I had to go back to the airport and drop him off because he just wouldn't do it.
Really? He didn't like warm weather?
No, he doesn't like the tempo of Florida. He says it's too slow.
Oh, I love slow. I like warm.
Well,
Slow.
he's, and I'm very happy also in New York City where it's hustle and bustle, and he kind of likes that. But we've settled here.
Well, it's nice because you can go slow here, but you have the hustle and bustle that's right there if you want to go see a show or.
Yeah, well, I don't. Since the pandemic, I have gone. I think twice since the pandemic, I've gone to the city, and I used to go at least once a week. I mean, I did that for years.
Yeah, it's not the same. I've heard. I haven't gone much myself, but
Right.
all reports.
Right. Now, are your children local?
My younger one is a New Yorker, a native New Yorker.
Now.
Yes, and my older one, Noah, was born in the Washington D.C. area.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
And is he here with you now?
Tonight,
No, in town. I mean, does he live with you now, or is he elsewhere?
both my kids are still living with me. Yes.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so they have not flown the coop yet.
Not yet. No. We're not too anxious. We want them to stay as long as possible. Eventually, yes.
I have 2 daughters, and my youngest daughter, now both of her children have left home. They have their own families, and they have, she has grandchildren and, all the things. Mm-hmm. My oldest daughter still has her children at home.
How old are they?
Oh, I would say 19 and 24.
Okay, well.
And not planning to leave.
These days, young people are really young people.
Yeah.
I think we were a lot further along at that age. At least my wife and we left when we were 18.
Oh, right. I was gone.
The moment you could get out, you were gone.
Yes.
But I think we've given them a lot cushier life than we had. So
yes.
That's part of it.
Yeah. Jeanette has provided a wonderful life for her 2 children, and they have looked around and said, this is a pretty good deal.
Right.
We'll just stay. And I don't think they're going to either one. Sometimes I wonder, well, what are you going to do when you die and these kids have never had a job? What are you going to do?
Oh, that's so true.
Mm-hmm.
So true. No, I've thought about that a lot.
Mm-hmm. Well, but you've got this ice cream parlor.
Yes.
So you could do a truck even.
Well, the kids already work there. They work there a lot.
Do they really?
Yes. All you fans out there can go and see the kids at the ice cream parlor working.
Really?
Yep.
And they like it?
They do. They like the money and they like meeting the people. And it's fun.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I would have liked a job like that because who's ever working there is pretty much on their own. I'm not there watching over you and telling you what to do, so you're kind of very autonomous position.
So you say to them, here is the key, this is your shift?
Yep.
That's what you do with your employees?
Yeah, so that's why we have to screen them very carefully and get really good employees, which we have, so that's good.
You screen them carefully?
Yes, because you want to get the ones that are nice and you can trust, and most are nice. It's nice to people.
Well, you're still in business, so I guess it's working.
Yes.
This is you're an interesting person because you have this business. You are a Woodstock person who recently bought a business.
Started with, yes.
Right. So you are surrounded now on the street by new people. and they have just come up from wherever they have come up from.
Escaped from New York mostly.
Right, but I mean, whether it's whatever borough, whatever, they've come up from where they've come up from.
Correct, yes.
And you know about your community. You know, they have come up here and they don't know anything. Really. I mean, the communication that I've had with them, they really are just, they're doing their job, they're whatever, but when
That's
push
true.
comes to shove, they might as well be on the moon.
That's true. I think they're kind of looking for cues to us a little bit to how things are here, and hopefully we're relaxed and calm and centered, and we can imbue them with that vibe, the Woodstockian vibe.
Well, I think, but you know, a lot about the Woodstockian vibe is a fantasy.
I was just thinking about that before we started, how so many people are taken aback when they hear that Woodstock was 30 or 40 miles away from this town. Some of them are disappointed. I was just thinking of different reactions that customers will have, and some of them just think it's kind of funny. But this was the place where people came and hung. This is where, after the festival was over, this was like the artist colony. The Woodstock is, this was pretty much ground central, even though it wasn't the actual place for it. This is where they came and got cigarettes and food and hung out and everything.
Right.
So.
And so, you know, at some point, I'm waiting for some of these people to have a culture shock event in which they kind of wake up and say, wait a minute, this isn't, you know, but I'm here. And I am so enthused by the different businesses.
How so?
Well, they're different. They're new. They've changed.
Oh, the new one, yes.
I know that when I first moved here, in the fall, businesses would close. Several businesses would close
Right.
every fall. And I knew that we were going to go through the winter with these empty addresses because, you know, the person stayed in as long as they could while the customers, you know, while the tourists were coming.
Right.
And then they're going to leave because the money is not going to be there anymore. And so now everything is on passing gear. And by that I mean if a business is not profitable, nobody knows it. All we know is that the sign changes tomorrow, but the business is never really closed. We do have a couple of businesses now that are closed, and they seem like that's kind of quirky. And of course, there's absolutely no place. Boy, there is just no place. You can't rent a place. You can't buy a place.
Oh, to live.
Oh,
Right.
for anything.
Yeah. You know, I do hear a lot of people, because we get a lot of people, tourists that come through, talk about that. Yeah, for sure. The cost of living has gone up for people who live here, no doubt. But what was your point? I'm sorry, I missed.
My point was just that we have all of these different businesses, and they are just changing so rapidly. Everything is kind of gone on some kind of an ultra fast speed.
It's getting kind of gentrified, if we're going to be honest about it. The way
Yes.
we live in Key West and we watch Key West become completely gentrified, and all the cool artists and hippies and musicians would be priced out, and they had to leave. And pretty soon it was just like people who own car dealerships in the South who were in Key West, and it wasn't really cool anymore. To go and, you know, just like people move out of the city. I remember living in the Lower East Side for a time, and that became, you know, completely different now, fully gentrified. So I think that's happening too. Any place that's really cool, that's artistic, people want to go to and want to be around that. I think hopefully this time we can maintain, you know, like you said, our vibe and blend together. Because I think people are coming here for that. I think they're trying to escape some of the rat race. So I don't think they're looking to bring the rat race here necessarily.
But when it's now that it is becoming more and more expensive, a lot of the people are being pushed out. And it's okay. It's part of the gentrification process. And of course, I feel like those people are going further north, but I don't know.
Probably out towards Phoenicia and out into further into the sticks. They'll become the Brooklyn and the Queens of Woodstock.
Well, from what I can tell, Phoenicia's pretty full too.
Really?
Yes. No, I'm talking about, Albany. I'm talking about, up the pike.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely, business has definitely increased. So
Yes.
I've noticed it. We've noticed it. But, good for them. I'm having, mostly it's couples who are coming and saying, making a big leap to try and, start a new life here and get greener, get closer to the trees. And I understand.
Yeah. That's true.
So hopefully they can integrate in a holistic way.
I hope. Hope springs eternal. And when I think about this, and I think about, okay, so you're considering a second place in Rhinebeck.
Considering, yes, strongly.
Strongly considering a place in Rhinebeck. So how are you going to diversify? Have you thought about that?
How so? Because I kind of want to make the same thing that we have going on in Sweet Dreams, which is a lot of pretty flowers and just a really nice vibe for people. So diversify in what way do you mean?
I'm just, I as it is now, or do you go to your place every day?
Every day. Try not to. I'm trying not to. My wife doesn't want me to, but I go.
Really?
I go. There's a lot to do when you run a business. There's a lot.
Yeah. Well, because how do you figure out what your next flavors are going to be? And how are they going to be? Are they going to be different in Rhinebeck?
It kind of goes. A lot of it comes from the feedback from people. We'll try new things out. For example, my sister who's a musician who lives in Brooklyn, for a long time pushed green tea. We have to have green tea. Everybody's green tea is the coolest. You got to have green tea. So I put it all forward because I was trying to just do classic flavors in a really good way. Just super tasty vanilla, super tasty chocolate. Just something that just tasted really good. So I didn't want to go with the bacon flavors and all these things that people are doing. So finally we got the green tea in, and it sat for a long time. But every so often somebody would come in and say, "Oh, great!" They go crazy for it, but then it would sit for more weeks. So it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
You have to go where the fish are.
You just try it and hope it works.
Yeah, we try things out. We tried a pumpkin at Halloween a couple times, but again, a couple people love it, but then other people, not so much.
Well, when you do something like pumpkin
Yes.
or green tea,
Yes.
and you have these people who actually do the concocting or whatever, do you just say, do me a pumpkin?
Yes, that's exactly right. Do me a pumpkin, I say. No, we'll talk about it, the flavors that they'll be working on, what they can do, and what they, and what we need. But usually it hasn't been a problem at all. Where it's Matt, our original ice cream maker, knows exactly, what people want. Knew already what people would want for like half of the flavors, and the rest has just been kind of feeling it out.
So when you started out, how did you find Mac?
I found Matt when he had they do some pints. His family company does pints off their farm that they sold to Hawthorne Valley Farm in upstate Philmont, Harlemville area, where I used to go and get raw milk. So we found that ice cream and we tasted it, and it was amazing, best I'd ever tasted ever, and I had already been looking shopping around for someone who could make really good organic ice cream, and for a long time, for a long time, and knew after taking it home and everyone trying it that was the one, and contacted Matt, and things worked out, and so.
That's really good. I think, because if you have, and of course now you say you have 3 people that are doing your flavors for you?
No, just one other company.
One other company. because you're talking about doing these different flavors, and you don't have to do it. So the truck drives up and he unloads these things.
Yes, I've been in production myself. I used to work for Steve and Lisa, who were organic nectars, the vegan ice cream company, and it's a lot of work. And so having done it, just different things down the line, I think I kind of wanted to be at the retail end.
Right. Because I'm thinking that if you don't do your own mixing and you don't do your own designing, I guess that's what you do. If you don't do your own designing, then you don't need to have an awful lot of square feet.
No, not at all. In fact, when we started, we were looking for something small, very tiny, just because cheaper rent, smaller square footage, and we don't need that much space to do ice cream. Just half the size of the studio, even less, would be enough.
Oh yeah, because that room that you have now is very small.
Yes, it is.
Now, I noticed also that you have cookies.
We do.
Now, tell me about the cookies.
The cookies are all organic, homemade. We make them ourselves, the cookies, and then we also...
Oh, the cookies, you do the cookies yourself?
Yes. Personally.
What flavors?
Mostly chocolate chip, sometimes other flavors, but mostly chocolate chip. That's the one that just is a staple. It'll always be there.
Now, tell me how the chocolate chip cookies mix with the ice cream.
I think they mix well for a lot of people.
I mean, do people buy ice cream and then get a cookie too?
Some people do. Some people will go and buy a big cookie and then put some ice cream on top and put another cookie on top.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. We've seen it done many times.
Wow. And then you have a refrigerator case that has liquids.
Yes.
Or did I imagine that? I looked over there and I saw that. Okay.
No, they're drinks. There are all kinds of... there are organic iced teas, and there's kind of healthier sodas, but we kind of have an alternative, organic, healthy version of most everything. So they're candies that are organic candies. So we'll have like a chewy fruities, which are like Starburst. They're actually much better than Starburst. They're like what Starburst wanted to be when Starburst grew up. But they're organic, and they're made for fruit juice, and so it's like that down the line with our pastries and our drinks. Healthy, organic, but still treats and yummy.
And you also have a garden to the side.
We do. Garden and music and...
How did that come about?
The garden? It wasn't easy. The property, we actually had to fight for that garden because it was all fenced off and there were no steps there. It was just overgrown and tires, and you wouldn't believe the condition of that yard. It was...
Oh, I would.
It was unbelievable.
I would. I do believe. Okay,
because I like 3 feet down, I'd pull out a shirt buried deep in the ground when we were cleaning it all out. So yeah, it was something else. But she didn't want to do it at first, and we kind of talked the property manager into it because I don't know, they didn't see what I saw it to be, what I saw it would be.
What did she want to do with it? Nothing.
Just kind of cordon it off, I think.
Just put up a big wall and we'll pretend it's not there.
Kind of, yeah.
Oh,
That was
really?
the way things were up to that point. Yep.
Because once you opened up the garden, the place becomes very different.
It's true. It's beautiful. I mean,
And I am amazed that you have an owner or a landlord that didn't have the vision to see that.
well, there's a whole story behind the landlord. It was Joan Schwartzberg, I think was her name, her last name, and she owned the property. That's correct, right, guys? Yeah. She owned the property for many years, right into her death. I never got to actually meet her. I was just about to meet her, but the young property manager said she was just too sick and she'll just do the papers with me. So we did the lease and stuff, and then she died just a couple of weeks later. So I was the last person to sign a lease with her before she died. And I'm sorry, what was the original question?
Okay, so what happened was you got this And then the person who would have said, oh yeah, let's do the yard and stuff, that person was out of the picture. And so you're looking at some new actors.
Yes, new actors came in. We'll leave it at that. But now it's and things were done, and her estate was executed and everything. And anyway, it was just recently bought by a new owner, who the same man who owns Pachamama right next door to us. And he's a great guy, Cesar, who is the new owner.
Cesar.
We'll fast forward right to that. Yep.
Yes. Okay. So you have got this place until whatever.
Yes, until I'll keep renewing the lease as long as Cesar will have us. Now that he's the new owner of the building as well. So.
Do you have any contingency plans?
Contingency plans? Yes, a little expansion for one, for sure. Having more shops, but definitely long leases and.
Well, now let me ask you something.
You mean like end of the world kind of contingency?
Well, that's
Because we have those as well.
We need to think about that. That's a whole other program.
It is.
But what I'm thinking of is, have you thought about, you've got this ice cream, and you've got the ice cream cookies, and cups of coffee and things,
Yes,
and the
right.
ice cream is definitely delicious. But what happens if you decide, or if events occur that mean that you should do something different with the ice cream? Have you ever thought about it?
Not really. Just staying with the adage, don't fix it if it ain't broke. I mean, if it gets broke, then I'll deal with that then. But right now, it's just been growing. Each year, it's literally been doubling in business since we've been open. So I don't want to mess it up. It's kind of like when you have kids. I kind of feel like they're born perfect, and you just try not to mess up what they have there.
They get off to a good start, and then
They do.
They get messed up along the way. Well, no, I'm just thinking, and of course, right now the people are just knocking each other down along that street.
Yes, on Tinker Street.
Yeah.
74 Tinker Street. Yes.
Yeah. And so, but I'm just thinking about, have you ever thought about trying to wholesale this ice cream to restaurants, or I don't know, have you ever thought about that at all?
No, just having been in the production part of the business before, I'd rather not. We do to-go containers that come out to about a pint, but we don't really do wholesale, because that is a whole other ball game that I'm not really interested in pursuing right now.
How does it go in the winter?
In the winter, it goes better than you would think, actually. People come in the middle of a snowstorm on a Tuesday to get their ice cream and get their coffee.
That's great.
Yeah. And I don't expect it because the streets are empty, but then someone just appears, then someone else just appears. So.
Are you open 7 days a week?
7 days a week, all through the winter.
That's wonderful.
Yep.
And do people come for just coffee?
They do.
Tell me about your coffee.
The coffee is all organic, fair trade coffee, often Catskill Mountain coffee from Mother Earth. We get a lot of our stuff from Mother Earth, like the cupcakes we bring in come from Mother Earth Bakery. Sometimes they're gluten-free, and sometimes always organic. And what was that? The coffee. The coffee is very good coffee. Espresso, lattes.
So do you just offer like a cup of coffee, or do you do other things? Do you do Americanos? Do you do...
The coffee is pretty much...
Just a plain cup of coffee?
No, we do Americanos, but we also do espresso and lattes and cappuccinos and, of course, Americanos, like you said. Sometimes people will put ice cream in their coffee.
Right, which is really nice.
Yes.
So what you have there is you have this ice cream. It's not really a parlor, although people do sit on benches and enjoy their coffee. But you do have an ice cream store, And you also have a coffee shop.
Yes, ice cream parlor, coffee shop, but mostly parlor. Like when I think of ice cream, I think of like growing up in the D.C. area, Swenson's and Baskin Robbins and places like that. Usually little places, much like ours. You would just go in and it would just be, the ice cream. It would be all about the ice cream. So
It would be all about the ice cream, but if you went to Swenson's,
yes.
they had a Coit Tower.
What is that?
That was an ice cream thing that had several different flavors of ice cream and had whipped cream on the top, and you had to have a long handle spoon. And
Oh, I think my sister used to get some of those. I would just stick with my staple coffee, ice cream, or whatever I was into at the time.
Right. So do you ever see yourself doing these concoctions?
To a degree, we have, we do organic chocolate syrup and whipped cream and sprinkles. At first, I was kind of I was snooty about the ice cream. The ice cream is so good; it doesn't need sprinkles. But so I finally the customers taught me, no, you need sprinkles. Kids want sprinkles. You got to have sprinkles. I learned that fast. So now we have chocolate sprinkles, rainbow sprinkles, any kind of sprinkles you want. You got sprinkles.
Well, so what else did you learn from your customers?
Just listen to the customer. I mean, having worked myself for other people for many years, you learn that it's, if you want things to go well, to make the customer happy, give the customer hopefully what they want. Not to be too cliche about it.
Because somewhere in my past, the best chocolate sundae that I ever ate started off with a brownie, and then it had a couple of flavors of different kinds of chocolate ice cream, and then it had chocolate syrup, and then it had some kind of really gross chocolate cereal.
Oh wow, that sounds like overkill.
Yeah, sugar frosted chocolate flakes or something, and then it had a chocolate flavored whipped cream, chocolate flavored everything. And when I go into your place, it's kind of like pure. I don't see, I just don't see it.
Yeah, you don't need to. The ice cream is so good; it doesn't need to be jazzed up.
Right.
That's kind of my idea.
You just get it in the cup and you just take it home and you eat it, and it's wonderful.
Yes.
And if the weather's nice, and if you can kick somebody off the bench, so you can have the bench for a few minutes, and you can sit at the bench and eat it.
Oh no, there's two tops on the.
Yeah, I know, but on a really nice day, those things are busy.
Oh, for sure. And in the summertime, it was all the way out. Gosh, down.
Yes.
I was worried that we had too many people there because it was just. So
And
crowded.
the tourists, their feet hurt by the time they get down to 76, and they'll just sit there. And if you want to sit down, well, I got here first. Stuff it, So, everything is done with smiles and everything. But it's like they didn't care if I was 80 years old. They had that chair, and I was just going to have to wait. So, but it's fun. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. Listen, that's an uptown problem.
No, we can't have that here. We gotta slow them down. Slow down, couple. Slow down.
Woodstock has gone about 200 miles an hour for the last 2 years.
In some ways, yeah, it has.
And when I got here, it was going about 50.
It's true. I guess when you're in the middle of it, it's kind of like the boiling frog. You don't really notice it.
Yeah, it's like it was amazing, and now it's just going so fast. People are just pedaling so fast.
For sure. Yep, they are. And again, they can realize, I think, over time, a few weeks here, they realize they don't have to pedal that quite as fast. They can
I haven't
still-
heard that from anybody yet.
No.
No.
They
Nobody has said I don't have to pedal so fast anymore.
Well, when they come to Sweet Dreams, they can come in and listen to the tropical music and just relax, at least for a few minutes there.
I will say this, that your ice cream with the chocolate syrup is really, really nice.
Thank you.
It is really nice. And I don't usually speak to the audience at this point, but if you have not had an ice cream cone there, you probably should. And every time I go there, I tell my husband, I say, now listen, we need to rethink the ice cream truck situation. And of course, he's, poor man, he doesn't want an ice cream truck.
Well, it was a great memory of mine as well. Just when you hear those bells.
Oh, yeah.
Just your heart would race. And,
yes.
Funny.
Yes.
Fast.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And you know, if you have an ice cream truck, and then if you want to combine it with some kind of a popcorn cake that has a decorated frosting on it, I mean, you know, you can really be outrageous.
That sounds outrageous.
Yes. But your place is kind of pure. So even though it's ice cream,
Yes.
it's not sinful.
Yes, I guess you could say that to some degree. I say that to people sometimes when they're feeling like they shouldn't. I say, well, you know, it is organic, so at least you can.
It's not sinful.
Less sinful. There's still sugar, but it's organic.
It
sugar.
is not sinful. And I come from a place where if you get ice cream, it's sinful. So if this is not sinful, I can have 3 or 4 times as much.
Okay.
I mean, you know, because it's not sinful.
Fair enough.
Right.
Everybody get that?
So what are your hours now through the winter?
Through the winter, we've cut back the hours now. Now we're open 7 days a week still, but Monday through Thursday, 12 to 7 p.m. And then Friday and Saturday still open till 12 to 9. And Sunday till 8, 12 to 8.
Do you take snow days?
Some days, if it's really bad and it's my day to work, you might see a sign if it's, you know, it's 2 feet of snow. You know,
When is your day to work?
when someone doesn't show up, usually.
How do you know when they don't show up?
It's usually the day of something like cat emergency or something. I'll get a text. Then you go.
So you just kind of make it over there somehow.
Yep.
And how did you select all of your drinks?
Which drinks? You mean like the coffee?
The ones in the case.
The ones in the case, they don't make that many healthy and tasty. It's kind of a combination of healthy and they have to taste good as well with everything. So drinks. So it was a lot of searching different companies. But the big thing is taste. I mean, we were kind of health nuts coming into running an ice cream parlor. But I know how my family has all through the years. It has to taste good. If it doesn't taste good, forget it.
So did you go to the fancy food show in New York? I mean, how did you find those drinks?
No, just mostly researching.
I know, but is researching, is that looking at magazines? Is that going to different places and seeing stuff? Is it going to the bottle shows? I mean, what?
In some cases, like it's also connections with people. I have a friend who I'm trying to connect with again, who makes a maple water that I want to bring in, which I think could be a cool new thing to have in there. It's water.
Oh, that would be great.
Wouldn't that be neat? Refreshing.
Yeah, it would be refreshing, and I think it would also go good with ice cream. Because, you know, not everything goes good with ice cream.
It's true. That's true. So I guess, yes, we thought of coffee for sure. I always thought that would go well together. Just the smell of coffee when you walk in is nice.
Yes.
The ice cream.
But, you know, the smell of ice cream is good too. The vision of ice cream, all of those different colors. Do you ever say, no, we can't do pistachio because there's not enough color, so we need to do raspberry? Do you ever do that?
We will place them so they kind of, you know, they not clash with each other, but they make each other pop. If we're going to go into the minutia of the ice cream.
I am.
Yes, I wouldn't want to put 2 chocolates next to each other because, you know, just get too confusing for the customer.
At any given moment, how many flavors have you got out there?
Usually about 4. We'll have 12 up top, then we'll have a couple more in the back case, so about 14.
In the back case.
I'll keep the sorbet and maybe another vegan there because
Now, where is that? Is that in the back room?
Yeah, there's in the back room, but also in the front, right by the register, is where I keep the extra that we serve. And that would be the extra vegan.
Do you mean that a customer can come in and say, listen, what have you got in the back room today?
No, they'll order the sorbet or one of the other vegan ice creams that we don't have displayed.
How many vegan ice creams do you carry?
Usually about 3 or 4.
Really?
And that's why we're going to get another case just for the vegan, because again, that's what people are asking for. Younger people are asking for. Older people still have to taste it. I can just get them to taste it. They like it, but sometimes they don't. Once they hear it's vegan, they don't want to taste it. So.
Really?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people like that. They won't even. Oh no, thank you for telling me. No, I'll try. I want the dairy. But then others will try it and go, this is pretty good. A lot of them say that. They'll say this actually tastes good.
Do they come back later and get a second serving?
Yeah. Very often they'll get the thing they tasted. They'll get that vegan flavor just because they like it.
I know, but then do they come back next week and try it again?
Probably. Yeah, we do have a lot of repeat customers. I don't remember their flavor.
Now, let me ask you something. How long, when you have a flavor, how long is it there?
The ones we have now are becoming staples. So I have to expand to have more flavors, because if we get rid of the ones we have, which I still have to as we replace some in and out, like the banana cream pie will run out, and we'll replace it with a key lime pie.
You have banana cream pie ice cream?
Oh yeah. Oh, it's fire. It's so good. So good. You gotta try it.
I think so. I think I will. Oh, this is depressing. I just can't, we just have to. Now, what days do you close?
I'm sorry I didn't bring it. I should have brought props. I should have brought a whole bunch of ice cream.
Listen, do you do banana splits?
Sure. Yeah, we could do
that.
that.
Do you really?
We could do that, yeah. For you, we would.
How about, do you do Sundays?
We do, we don't do Sundays per se, like I said, because we don't do too much preparation.
None of that glitzy stuff. Just ice cream.
Well, no, like I said, we have chocolate syrup, and we also have a caramel syrup, and we have whipped cream, and the sprinkles, and different gummy bears. If you want
there's something, I don't know, gummy bears, I don't know.
I agree. I'm not
I mean, gummy bears, I love the gummy bears, but I mean, in the ice cream, I just want ice cream. I mean, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. I don't want to mess it up with sprinkles. But my children, it's a different thing.
Right, exactly. That's a lesson learned. It was the kids the look on their face when you didn't have sprinkles. I didn't want to see that again. Like, what is this place with that sprinkles? Let's get out of here. Let's just go to the other place. So now we got sprinkles.
Well, so the one thing that we can say about your place is that we're not going to find it at the next 5-star hotel down the road.
How so? What do you mean?
Well, we're not going to find your ice cream down there. In other words, if somebody wants your pistachio or banana cream pie or something, they've got to come to Woodstock and get it.
That's correct, yes. It's a destination.
It's a destination place.
Mm-hmm.
Has the Chamber of Commerce figured this out yet?
Actually, the first few months that I was in business, someone did approach me and said that I should come talk to them. I've been so busy. I don't know what they do yet. I'll figure it out. And maybe talk to them some more. I'm sure it's good.
Because I think one of the things that would make Woodstock very marketing is to have a brochure that just showed businesses that have products that you can't go to Saugerties and get. Of course, now if you go over to Rhinebeck, that's all over. All bets are off. Because then you got 2 locations.
That's true. But we'll have 2 different T-shirts. One will say Woodstock.
Well, or maybe you could have something different.
We could.
For years, I had a business in Washington, D.C. I was a headhunter.
Oh, wow.
And,
my hometown.
Huh?
My hometown. I was born and raised.
Yes, I did. And I didn't want to do, all the war stuff. So I did food and restaurants and stuff.
Okay.
And at some point during my career, I decided that I needed a second location. just shoving another disc in the wall in the same place was just not going to happen. It just wasn't going to do it. I don't know. I learned the hard way.
Overhead.
It's not only overhead. When I would walk out of the room, people weren't working the way they did when I was there. And, you can't be in two places at once. It was a big mess. But, still, Rhinebeck has a draw.
It's true.
And it probably has cheaper rent. Because Woodstock is full.
It does. It depends on where you find, but yes, I think it could be very similar. And as long as you have something like a draw that's that people want, I think that hopefully it wouldn't be too much overhead to expand, and it would be a good thing for everyone.
And if you make the cookies at home, and if people come and put the ice cream on the cookies and then they make a sandwich, then they're doing all this work. Maybe you could do the cookies themselves.
No, it's easier that way with the customers. You have to get the customers to work.
Right.
Make the cookies.
So they come to Woodstock and they make their own ice cream cookies, their own whoopie pies.
They can. They're welcome to. But most of the people walk out with cones and with or cups if they're gluten free.
Your cups are lovely, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I didn't mention everything's green. Everything's biodegradable in the shop or recyclable, but mostly biodegradable. All of our tableware.
But a lot of times people say that they've got biodegradable, and it's a quality. It is a quality issue, and it's really great. And I did see your T-shirts, and they are adorable.
Thank you.
Do people buy them and take them away?
They do, which is neat.
Yeah. Do you ever see those T-shirts walking down the street?
Once I did.
How did you feel?
I thought it was great. Everyone should do it. I was tickled. It was nice.
It made your day.
It was, yeah. A guy had sold it to the previous day, and he was wearing it around.
I think it's wonderful. So, and your children are not. They're not interested in having their own places, their own ice cream.
No, actually, as we expand, that's definitely. They'll probably be the ones running the other shop. Maybe one of them running both of them at some point, so I can go back to Key West and fade into the sunset.
My kids never wanted anything to do with my businesses. Never, even now, they want nothing to do with my businesses.
Really?
Right.
Well, ice cream, it's not a hard sell.
I think ice cream would be fabulous. I think they would want to do ice cream.
Yes.
If I came up with an ice cream store, they would say, well, no, I'll give it some thought.
No, all their friends want to work. In fact, we have a list so thick every summer of kids who want to work there. I want to work there because, it's a fun place to work. And you can make a lot of money because we have a tip jar, so they make a lot of extra money in tips as well.
Now, have you thought about, do you sell your coffee?
Outside the store?
No. Do you sell the coffee? Bags of coffee?
No. Don't sell. I mean, we just sell it by the cup.
Just by the cup?
Yep. Everything's retail.
And how many years have you been open now?
We just started our 4th year, so 3 years and
3 years.
6
And
months.
what is the most popular flavor of ice cream?
I'll have to say the truth, which is cookies and cream.
Is it really?
It is. And it's because cookies and cream is the most popular in the world.
Truthfully, I have never eaten cookies and cream ice cream.
Good for you.
I'm a total purist. I want chocolate or vanilla. And if people put a name in front of the vanilla,
Right?
then I think that that's an even more special vanilla.
Or vanilla chip.
Yeah, something like that, Mexican chocolate, I don't know. But then I live there, so no. But the other chocolates, the one that I got the other day when I was in your store, was delicious.
Oh, I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, but cookies and cream would be 1, and then probably strawberry would be 2.
Really?
Yeah, because our strawberry is just amazing.
Outrageous.
Outrageous.
Totally outrageous.
Mm-hmm.
Sinful.
I guess so.
Oh, wow. Well, listen, We didn't do this in the beginning. Let's take a couple of minutes or 30 seconds here right now. Oh, we've only got 5 minutes left.
Uh-oh.
Tell people where you are.
Okay, all right. We are at Sweet Dreams Organic Ice Cream, if you haven't already gotten sick of hearing that already. And it's at 74 Tinker Street, Woodstock, New York. Which camera is it?
It's that one.
This one? Is that one?
Yes, the
70
one right there in front of you.
Gotcha. 74 Tinker Street, Woodstock, New York. And it's a big yellow building. Can't miss it, with a big ice cream cone out front. It's lit up.
Well, and you have music going too, don't you?
We do. Music is a big part of Sweet Dreams, actually. I've heard
Yeah.
a lot of people comment on the music, which we curate very carefully.
And you've got the yellow bench out front, if
We
it's
do.
not completely covered with people sitting on it.
Yes, oftentimes they are, but
Yes.
yeah, but if you can get there at a good time, you can get the spot in the garden, and there's a little bench for kids to sit on, and a lot of people take pictures. And this next year, we may have a special treat coming this spring.
What is that?
I don't know if I should reveal it, but
Oh, you must. Please do. On YouTube.
there may be a kiddie ride, like it's just a little coin operated where you,
Oh, yes.
yeah. So which I think for Woodstock will be like Six Flags.
Yes. That's great.
Yeah.
You've got room, And I love the little garden that you have with the little bitty chairs and things.
Thanks, yeah, the fountains, yeah. Thank you. We work hard on it. Every spring we start getting all the plants together and the flowers, and everything starts coming back. And it's fun.
Do you sometimes you go places and they have a resident cat. I see that in the city. People will have a business with a resident cat. You don't have a resident cat, do you?
We do at home, I do, but no, I wish I saw that more. It seems like there were so many strays when we were kids, and no longer. I never see stray anything. When I was a kid, I remember stray dogs. We'd go, oh, can we keep this? Or stray cats, but no, unfortunately. If anybody wants to donate a cat to the business,
Uh-oh.
just kidding. We have cats at home.
Listen, we are running short of time, so can you say again the name of the company, and can you give a website or something where people can contact you?
Sure, you can find us on Google, and it's Sweet Dreams Organic Ice Cream, 74 Tinker Street, Woodstock, New York.
And how much are the t-shirts?
And we deliver as well. The t-shirts are, I think, $15, $20, depending on the t-shirt. We have a couple different styles.
Now, you just said something. Now we've got 30 seconds left and you deliver?
We do deliver. Yeah, 684-5910.
684-5910.
Correct.
What do you deliver?
Ice cream.
I know, but how much?
How much?
Do you have to buy a gallon or?
No, the company we use charges a small fee. I think it's around $8.
Oh, you use Grubhub or something like that?
Oh, it's actually a local company, a friend of mine, another friend of mine. Growing up here, everybody's started businesses, and a friend has a business that delivers food. So they'll come and get it and take it anywhere within like 10 miles, I think.
Have you ever fixed an ice cream cake?
We have, actually. No, not an ice cream cake, I'm sorry. Cakes. We did that for the first year, and we don't really do it much anymore just because it just takes up so much time.
Too potchky.
It is, and there's so much to do already. So.
Yeah, just scooping the ice cream is all you really want to do.
It is, and it's nice, and we bring in nice cupcakes and other treats for people who spend all their time doing just that. So.
Well, I think it's important that with your ice cream, you have distilled this down to the basic success. You know, you're not wasting time and effort with something that's not going to, because you have this pure product.
Right. Do one thing, do it well.
Right. Do it, and do it well.
You don't want to go to a Mexican restaurant and say, "Oh, we also have Thai." You know, no, it's just one Mexican. You know, so it's kind of like that. We try just to do one thing and really just do that in the best way we can.
Well, actually, you do two things because you do coffee.
That's true, but they complement each other.
Yes.
So I guess you could do Mexican and Guatemalan food together. That wouldn't be so bad.
Oh, please. Are we out of time, my dear?
Hopefully.
You got 1 minute. Listen, we have 1 minute left. I think this was a delightful show. And I do hope that when you see this show on YouTube, that remember that if you ever get a chance to come to Woodstock, that,
Joshua?
no, the name of the company.
Sweet Dreams.
Sweet Dreams at
Sweet Dreams Organic Ice Cream, 74 Tinker Street.